Good day, my name is Temperance Uyoyo Okare. I'll be talking on evaluating the efficacy of cybersecurity strategies in mitigating credit card fraud within financial institutions. Outline of presentation. I will be talking on the introduction, literature review, methodology, results, conclusion, recommendation, and area of future work. Rationale for the research. Rise in credit card fraud. Credit card fraud has become a serious threat to financial institutions due to the rise of digital financial transactions. Cybersecurity criminals are exploiting financial security system, the weaknesses in these systems using sophisticated techniques like phishing, skimming, and identity theft. With the rise in digital banking, existing rule-based systems are enabled to protect against ever-increasing cyber threats. Machine learning, algorithm, ethical hacking, and penetration testing are required to aid cybersecurity measures in preventing credit card fraud. Aims and objective of the project: to examine the current cybersecurity strategies used by financial institutions, to analyze the role of ethical hacking, to assess ethical, legal, and regulatory implications, and to propose recommendations for strengthening fraud detection and prevention strategies in financial sectors. Cybersecurity strategy: machine learning and AI based fraud detection. Compared to conventional rule-based system that employs pre-established fraud indicators, machine learning models can significantly increase the accuracy of fraud detection. Ethical hacking and penetration testing. Ethical hacking and penetration testing are examples of proactive cybersecurity techniques that have become popular as a measure of proactively identifying weaknesses that criminals might later exploit. Number three, regulatory and compliance challenges in cybersecurity implementation. To stop fraud, multi-factor authenticators, transaction monitoring, and strong encryption techniques are required. Financial organizations are required to adhere to stringent cybersecurity regulations. The General Data Protection Regulation GDPR or the Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard PCI-DSS have been employed. Models used in the research work. Data pre-processing and feature engineering. This shows how the credit card transaction data is stored and how numerical values are normalized and how variables that are categorically are being encoded. It helps to split the data set into training and testing sets. Machine learning and model training. Random forex is used in machine learning and model training to train data and assess performance. Fraud detection and prediction. It runs fraud prediction and return results as JSON. Data storage and retrieval (PGSO). Its role is found in for storing transaction and detect transactions that are fraudulent. Security and compliance enforcement. To encrypt data that are sensitive and to implement the ROBAC, rule-based access control. And last but not the least, user interface and API integration. This was accomplished by displaying fraud alerts and connecting the front end to back end API. This is the architectural design where you have from the start of the transaction, the data collection layer, preposition layer, and then it goes down to machine model. And then it looks for any anomaly to be detected, and if there's a fraudulent detection, it sends an alert. Or if it's not, if the transaction is not fraudulent, it actually approves the transaction, and then it completes the process of a user verification and login and compliance and risk management, and then the process ends. Methodological tools used. Tools for data and analysis visualization are required in order to evaluate efficacy of cybersecurity measures from case studies that have been already published. Python is used to process and analyze cybersecurity datasets and provide statistical insight into fraud detection, while Microsoft Excel is used for statistical analysis, graphical creation, and raw data organization. Other tools used for reporting is Microsoft Word and Google Doc. Result and finding. Based on the results, accuracy rates of higher than 90% can be reached for fraudulent transaction detection using models like random forex and gradient boosting. The study also points out that false positive rate, the FPRO, from 5 to 15% was also detected. This means that 5 to 15% of legitimate transactions can be flagged as fraudulent. A continuation, impact of ethical hacking and penetration testing. The finding indicates that penetration testing exposes security weakness of up to 78%. And the table below shows a breakdown of common security vulnerabilities detected during penetration testing. You have the occurrence and the severity for SQL, cross-site scripting, phishing susceptibility, and weak encryption practices. Also, in terms of comparative effectiveness of cybersecurity strategies, you have cybersecurity strategies on one side and the effectiveness it creates, the scalability, and how they can adapt to new threats. Discussion of findings. Data processing and feature engineering. Data pre-processing and feature engineering. The feature engineering and data pre-treatment models performed a good job of ensuring that the training dataset was clear, organized, and instructive. Fraud detection and prediction API. This model effectively classifies transactions as either legitimate, fraudulent using the machine learning algorithm. It has good accuracy and recall rates for both the random forex classifier and the logistic regression model, which indicates that they are reliable at identifying fraudulent trends. Real-time communication between the user and the interface and the back-end fraud detection system was made possible by the API integration and allow for the prompt response to any transaction requests. Modern training and evaluation. This model was crucial for evaluating how well various machine learning algorithms performed. Dataset and transaction storage. The large-scale financial transactions were handled effectively using the PostgreSQL database. Risk analysis and fraud scoring. Risk analysis model assigned the fraud score to the transaction such that the probability of the fraudulent behavior was high. This risk-based authentication mechanism allowed only high-risk transactions to pass through additional verification step before getting approved. User interface and real-time alert system. It provides users with an easy-to-use dashboard that allows them to keep an eye on transactions, detect possible fraud, and take appropriate actions. Limitation of the study. Empirical testing limitation. This study did not conduct empirical testing to validate the effectiveness of various cybersecurity techniques. Also, vary data set quality. Results vary depending on the study based on which it was found, and it may have used different data set, sample size, or evaluation metrics. Lack of focus on emerging trend. The study focused on analyzing the existing fraud detection method and ethical hacking techniques, but does not concern with emerging fraud schemes like deepfake based financial fraud or the AI generated phishing attack. No real world testing, and this is because of the sensitivity that is involved with these projects. Conclusion. Result for financial institutions. In order to maintain consumer satisfaction, financial institutions must implement AI enhanced fraud detection and lower false positive. The cybersecurity framework must also include ongoing penetration testing. According to this report, in order to give regulatory bodies more protection against new fraud scheme, real-time AI-based security measures should be added to the current compliance framework. Violating blockchain-based authentication mechanism to be utilized as an encrypted container of citizens' data in order to provide a transaction secure and fraud mitigation. Real-world penetration testing, empirical testing of penetration testing and fraud detection mechanisms, both based on theoretical conclusions. Thank you for listening.